colleges. It was particularly prestigious to work at Mikoyan, but there were also material rewards. The salary was higher than average, and there were better housing opportunities.
You're watching the Discovery Wings channel.
The Discovery Wings channel is rolling out the red carpet. Get ready for Celebrity Wings. Join us for a who's who of high-flying headliners. Famous faces from all walks of life with a passion for flight.
I just love the feeling of speed.
Escape from the public eye and into the wild blue yonder. This fall, we're following the stars in the sky. Celebrity Wings. Mondays at 9:30, only on the Discovery Wings channel.
Construction work on the first prototype began in the mid-70s at the Mikoyan Bureau's prototype construction facility in North Moscow. It was built using conventional stressed skin aluminium construction. On the basis of experience gained in the construction of the MiG-23 and 25, automatic welding was widely used in the airframe structure. It made production much less labor-intensive than riveting. Composite materials were used in the structure of the MiG-29 to save weight where possible. Comprehensive load tests were carried out to make sure that the aircraft could stand the great stresses of dogfighting. It was designed to withstand more than 12 Gs, 12 times the force of gravity. Development of the radar-based weapons control system continued as the prototype was built. It was to be controlled by a pulse Doppler radar with look-down, shoot-down capability. It was to have a conventional antenna. It was to have an infrared search and track system with a laser rangefinder. The pilot was to be equipped with a helmet-mounted sight. Four different Soviet aviation research institutes advised on aerodynamics, jet engines, construction materials, and weapons and electronics. Mikhail Waldenberg, who was to take over as chief designer of the MiG-29 in 1982, once said that there is no way for a pilot to break the airframe of the MiG-29. The pilot would break first. This is the first prototype of the MiG-29. It's now on permanent display at the Monino Air Force Museum near Moscow. The prototype's nose wheel was in front of the jet intakes. It had to be moved back on production models so that it wouldn't throw mud or dust from dirt runways directly into the engines. Unlike its direct competitor, the F-16, the MiG-29 has two engines. The Soviet Air Force insisted on two engines as a safety factor. because a number of single-engine aircraft had crashed in pilot training. The engines of the MiG-29s are not the traditional Tumanskis. They are Klima RD-33 turbofans, which produce a combined total of about 35,000 pounds of thrust. This gives the 29 an extremely high thrust-to-weight ratio of 1.12, which means that after takeoff, it's capable of going straight up. The two engines are separated by a large air brake, and in the center of the air brake, there's a compartment that houses the drag chute, released on landing to slow the aircraft down. On October the 6th, 1977, Chief Test Pilot Alexander Fedotov took off in the MiG-29 prototype 901 for its first flight. This flight was uneventful, but later in the test program, crashes would seriously injure both Fedotov and another test pilot, Valery Menitsky. After the first flight, there was the traditional Russian ceremony in which the test pilot is thrown in the air.
Saturday, Discovery Wings drops in for the Dayton Air Show as the hometown of the Wright brothers celebrates 100 years of flight. Join people from all over the country and enjoy everything aviation. We give you a front row seat for mind-blowing stunts and an up-close glimpse at the historic planes at one of the biggest air shows in the world. Celebrate the centennial where it all began. The Dayton Air Show, Thunder in the Sky, Saturday at 8 on Discovery Wings.
The Mikoyan Bureau chose not to install a fly-by-wire control system in the MiG-29. They considered that fly-by-wire technology, in which a computer interprets the pilot's control movements before passing them on electronically to the controls, was not yet mature enough in the Soviet Union. But the MiG-29's control system is not simply mechanical. It is intelligent to some extent, a step halfway between a traditional control system and fly-by-wire. Soviet pilots consider lack of fly-by-wire is not necessarily a disadvantage. They point to examples where pilots have been killed because the computer would not let the pilot pull high enough G-forces to get out of trouble. They say that fly-by-wire makes an average pilot better, but they say an excellent pilot will get more from an aircraft without fly-by-wire. The Klima jet engines of the MiG-29 have high thrust and relatively low fuel consumption, but they are smokier than their Western counterparts. Western pilots say that smoke gives away an aircraft in visual combat at longer range, but the Soviet Air Force never seemed to be concerned about it. The MiG-29 test and evaluation program lasted 5 years. It wasn't until mid-1982 that initial production began at the huge Gaz-30 plant in Moscow, about 3 miles away from Mikoyan headquarters. Unlike Western aircraft manufacturers, Russian Design Bureau are just that. Apart from building prototypes, they are not a combined design and production facility. Under the system developed by the Soviets, there is the Ministry of Aircraft Industry, the Design Bureau, and separate production factories. Although Mikoyan has no production facility of its own, traditionally, manufacture of MiG aircraft has begun at Gaz-30. 30,000 people work at this plant. 3,000 of them don't manufacture aircraft. They make refrigerators and household goods.